Hey y'all, Carolina Tony. I am here on the streets of Deadwood, South Dakota. We are going to go inside saloon number 10 in just a few minutes and learn the legend of the famous sheriff, famous card player, Wild Bill Hickok. And we'll get started right after this station identification. Wild Bill Hickok. It's like a real old saloon to have sawdust on the floor.
Yeah, welcome to the world famous saloon number 10. Now this is the only museum in the world with a bar in it. I know. Hey, you know that's why I hang out here. I love museums. You're to watch me play some cards, right? Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to do that for you. First, I'm going to tell you some stories about myself and how I came to be the man you know me as today. And also how I ended up here in Deadwood. And, well, I can tell you it's going to be pretty tough to concentrate on stories with these cards sitting all idle like that back here, but I'll do my best. Now, when I do get ready to play cards, I'll ask for 4 volunteers out of y'all. I'm Bill Hickok, exactly right. Well, James Butler Hickok. Most folks nowadays, they do like to call me Wild Bill. And like I said, I'm going to tell you some stories about myself. May as well start from the beginning. I was born in Troy Grove, Illinois, May 27th of 1837. Quick, how old's that make me?
Oh.
39, exactly right. Good job. Now, I am going to skip over a little bit because I really don't think you'd probably recognize me till about 1865. The Civil War had just ended, and, well, I did fight during the Civil War. I was a scout, a spy, and a sharpshooter for the Northern Army. But when the war did end, I was just like everybody else. Abilene, Kansas. Now, see, Abilene, it was a rough cattle town. One of the roughest there was. Them cattle drives, they come through there, bring all sorts of outlaws and ruffians with them. They'd shoot up the town, scare the daylights out of the good folks there just trying to make a life for themselves. The people of Abilene, well, they were more than happy when they heard the great Wild Bill Hickok had taken the job as their marshal and was going to clean that place up. I got there, I laid down some new ground rules. Do not bring your guns to town. Certainly don't be shooting them off in city limits. But there was this guy. There's always this guy, right? Yeah. Fella by the name of Phil Coe. Phil, he was a Texas cattleman. He bought a bar there in Abilene, and I guess he had a little problem with my authority. See, I was a marshal. I laid down the rules and I enforced them. And Phil, he didn't want to follow the rules. He just wanted to argue with me about them all the time. Day in, day out. Every day it was something new with that guy. And, well, I think we all know how them arguments is going to turn out. They're going to come to a head someday, and this one was no different. See, I'm sitting in the saloon early one evening, you know, having a drink, minding my own business, winding down from a long day's work, and I hear this ruckus in the street. People are screaming and hollering, guns are going off everywhere. I run outside to investigate, and who is it? It's Phil Coe and all his friends shooting up the town, scaring everybody. Much like Davis, I yelled at him to knock it off too, but he didn't want to listen either. Pretty soon we got this big shouting match going on, and, well, Phil reaches for his pistol. Big mistake. And I'm quicker. I saw him reach for his, reached for mine, drew first, bam, shot him dead right there. But, like I said, he had all those friends with him. And they all had guns too. I'm not myself. I'm on the defensive. I looked up at them all and I yelled, Who wants the rest of these? Nobody said a word. Till I heard somebody yell my name from back in the alley. I turned, quick shot again. Oh, I shot my deputy, Mike Williams. Oh, some of you guys are laughing about that. Let me try that again. I shot my friend, my deputy. Well, yeah, that's a little better, but too late for it anyway. Jeez. Some of you folks in here got a real sick sense of humor. I did find good card games about any town I went to. Now, at this point in my life, after I'd shot my deputy there in Abilene, my friends were worried about me. They said I was drinking way too much, spinning out of control, wasting my life away, and, well, they all wanted to give me a leg up of sorts. And when I ran into Buffalo Bill Cody, I know y'all know who that is, and Buffalo Bill and our other friend Texas Jack, well, they come up to me and say, Bill, we're taking a Wild West show out to the East Coast, and we would be honored if you would join us. Well, not doing much else at the time and really needing some money, I said, why not? Let's take that Wild West show out there and show them Easterners just how wild it really is out here. Truth be told, I didn't care for that. No, some people are showmen and some aren't. Buffalo Bill? Heck yeah, there's a showman for you. Me? No, not so much. You know, I did get into a little bit of trouble out there. See, my friend Buffalo Bill, he didn't think it was right that I was drinking and carrying on during the shows, and, well, he took my liquor away. I'm here to tell you it made me rather ornery. I shot the lights out of some of the venues we played in, shot a couple of extras with blanks and started their pants on fire because I thought it was funny. Yeah, they didn't. I'd say by the end of it all, my good friend Buffalo Bill regretted every minute of taking me with on that tour. So I saved him the trouble of firing me and I quit. Although West was calling me again anyhow, I had to get back out here. I ended up over there in Cheyenne, Wyoming territory. Now when I got to Cheyenne, well, I found me a card game right away because that's just what I do. I played for a couple days, was doing pretty good. I look up from the table, and in walks a lady friend, Agnes Lake. Now, see, I'd known Agnes for years, and when we got back together, it was like we'd never been apart at all. Well, I guess I could tell you folks, I was very fond of Agnes, and, well, after sitting down with her for a while, talking and catching up a bit, I found out she's fond of me too, so I asked her to marry me. You know what she said?
Yes.
Yes, of course she did. You know, I probably wouldn't even tell the story if she said no. She did say yes. We had a nice little wedding, and I whisked her away on a honeymoon to Cincinnati. Now, we did honeymoon in Cincinnati for a short spell, but Agnes, she had worked there. She's run a circus by this time, and, well, I had to get back out here, so I left her there and I headed back west. Oh, I figured to myself, Cheyenne seemed like a right fine town. Maybe that's where I'll go start working on a fortune so me and Agnes can retire. Turns out, Cheyenne was not nearly as good to me as I'd initially hoped. No, I went on this long streak of bad luck, you see. I lost all my money at the card tables. I ended up penniless in the streets of Cheyenne. You know what they did to me? They arrested me! They told me I was a vagrant! They told me either leave Cheyenne right now, or you'll spend the rest of your time here in the jailhouse. Not wanting to spend a whole bunch of time in the Cheyenne jail, I did heed them warnings and I left. But as I got to the outskirts of town, I ran into this big wagon train. The biggest one I'd ever seen. I look up front and who's running that thing? None other than my best friend, Colorado Charlie Utter. You guys know Colorado Charlie? I got a couple of you out there. A couple of people nodding their heads. A couple of people said, yeah. Well, any more of you? No? Well, he's famous. You should know him if you don't. Half the building's named after him. Well, maybe if you don't know him, you should pick up a book every once in a while. You know, Charlie and I, we've been best friends ever since I was the sheriff in Hays City. And when he saw me on the edge of town like that, he got this big grin on his face. He says, Bill, get on this wagon train with us. Huge gold strike in the Black Hills of Dakota Territory. I tell you what, you come with us, I got a gold claim up there. You can work the claim, I'll drive freight back and forth, and we'll split the money 50-50. Well, being as how it was for me there in Cheyenne, that was not a hard decision to make. I hopped that wagon train with him. There's all sorts of fine folks on there, over 200 of them. 70-plus wagons, all filled with goods for this town right here. Now, we headed north out of Cheyenne, spent about a week out on the prairie before we pulled up at Fort Laramie. Now, when we got to the fort, they were excited to see us. Well, at least the colonel was anyway. He come right out the wagon train, says, fellas, so good to see you guys. You gotta help me out here. Since these women showed up at the camp, I can't get a thing out of my guys. They don't get any sleep at night. They're staying up all night drinking and carousing with these women. Get them out of here, please. And we look over and there's Dirty M and Madam Mustache. The little tidbit was there, and well, this other scrungy looking fella actually turned out not to be a fella at all. I think you know what I'm talking about, right? Calamity Jane. Now, I also know you've been starting and spreading them rumors about myself and Calamity maybe somehow being romantically involved. Not true. Come on now. Didn't I just tell y'all I was married? And them rumors get back to Agnes, I'm in all sorts of trouble. Besides, you ever seen Calamity? Well, she looks like a man, dresses like one, drinks like one, curses like one, spits like one, smells like one. Yeah, no thanks. So like I'm a bit more feminine than that. But you know, I probably shouldn't talk bad about Calamity, though, because, well, for whatever problem she may or may not have, I don't know anybody that works harder than her, man or woman, and, well, she's got a heart of gold. If you've got a problem and Calamity Jane is anywhere around, she'll help you out, I guarantee it, just the kind of person she is. Now, we did get to be friends. They all got on that wagon train with us. Another week and a half later, we pull up on the edge of town out here. We look down over this gulch, and it stinks something fierce. It was dirty and muddy and nasty. One street, Main Street, the horses, the cattle, the oxen, they'd all go down that street and do their business. It was mud and muck on the main street about that deep. It never dried. If you wanted to cross, you had to go all the way to the top, cross up there to come down the other side. But the people didn't care. They didn't come here for how it smelled or how it looked. You know why they came here, right? Gold, and lots of it. They were flooding here by the thousands seeking their fortune. And that's no different. I mean, I wanted my fortune too. I knew I had a working gold claim out there. I went right out and I started working it. I worked it hard for about 3 hours. Yeah. Yep, I found out real fast that gold mining was not for me. But Deadwood, being what it is, all the people, the gold, the saloons, the gambling halls, yeah, it didn't take me long to find something else to do in this town. I'm downtown playing cards.
Some came with hopes of finding the right man. Others came simply to make their own fortune. Their attire, somewhat more revealing than what was thought to be proper, was looked down upon by those trained in ladylike etiquette. But nonetheless, they brought to the gold rush an air of reckless, dazzling excitement. By August 2nd, 1876, they were well established up and down Deadwood City's main street, working around the clock in one fashion or the other. Honky-tonk piano,
Hey, what?
number
Finish up
10,
this hand
seeking
deal, me.
a
I'll
little
be there in
poker
a second. I
action.
gotta get a drink.
Charlie Rich, a gambler
Try
from
that whiskey,
Cheyenne,
Harry.
Carl Mann, owner of saloon number
How's your day
10,
going?
and Captain Massey,
Wonderful.
a riverboat
All right,
captain
when do you
from
want the
Missouri,
house?
were engaged in a game.
Catch
Didn't
here
win this
now.
argument either. And on this rare occasion, he settled down, sitting with his back to the door.
Fine. I'll take your
Wearing
money
this,
and
though,
I'll
kept
take
Bill
your chair,
alert,
Charlie.
for all knew him to be a
What's the matter with
left-handed
this guy,
drinker,
Carl?
leaving his right hand
He's been
free
that
to
way all
handle his
day?
pistol. As unpredictable as card games are, Bill found himself quickly losing to Massey,
Sure
who
making a
lost to
lot of
Bill
money
the
over
night
there,
before.
Bucky. Looks like you just
Bill
lost
asked
a good
Harry
one
for
to Carl
$15
there.
worth of pocket checks. Harry brought
Maybe
them
it's
over to
not
Bill
lucky, see,
and returned
huh?
to the bar
Can I
and
get
his duties.
$15 from you, Harry? Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Soon, a shifty drifter known as Jack McCall entered the saloon. Bill quickly turned while drawing his gun. Recognizing McCall as a newcomer to town, he greeted him with a friendly,
Howdy, Jack. Jack
Then
was in here
reholstered his
last
gun
night playing
and
cards.
resumed
I
the
can't
game.
believe he came back today.
Jack slowly circled the table, pausing briefly behind each player and analyzing each hand.
Hey! What are you looking at? We don't need you lurking. Get out of here, kid.
You gonna let him talk to you like
Hey,
that?
not him, you. Get out. I mean, let him in here.
While
Hey,
Bill's
Carl,
attention
you
was
ain't
on
got any
Massey,
money left.
there was a friendly argument between them, and while Bill remarked,
How much you bet there, Massey? Four?
I shot that whiskey, Harry.
upon returning directly behind Wild Bill, suddenly Jack McCall,
Great. Might as well.
Take
a bullet struck Bill in the back of the head, coming out of his left cheek and lodged in Captain Massey's left arm. It was discovered soon after the cards Bill was holding were aces and eights, forever known as the dead man's hand. All fled the saloon except Carl Mann, who was held at bay by McCall. Jack snapped the trigger of his gun several times. It failed to fire. He then ran out the door and up the street. He was found hiding in a building behind a butcher shop. Later on in the day, he was tried in a minor's court. The jury, being tainted and influenced by a deceitful defense, found McCall not guilty, and he was released. This decision not only outraged the judge, but also the general populace. McCall left the camp in haste. Upon reaching supposed safety in Wyoming, he began bragging of his ignoble deed. Word of this reached a U.S. Marshal who tracked McCall down, arrested him, and sent him to Yankton to be tried again in Dakota Territory. It was determined, since the first trial was held in Indian Territory, that it was not legal. McCall was found guilty and hung for his cowardly crime. He was buried in an unmarked grave on the edge of town. Later, as the town grew, the cemetery was moved. As the coffins were opened, one corpse was found with a rope around its neck. It was easily identified as Jack McCall, the assassin of Wild Bill.
There we go. Well, I hope you have enjoyed the legend of Wild Bill Hickok.
I enjoyed shooting him.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a big old thumbs up. Be sure to share with your family and friends. But until next time, y'all have a good day.
You have a good day.